Now, today the president met with journalists and podcasters, a number of whom have been victims of violent attacks by Antifa, including Andy Ngo and independent journalist Brandy Cruz, who admitted to the president that she was a long-term TDS sufferer. That's Trump derangement syndrome.
I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier, I'm healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive after I got rid of my Trump derangement syndrome. Yes. You know, I'm a reporter in Seattle, and frankly, I could not care any less what any of you have to say about this meeting. Could not care any less. We're not here for you. I'm not here to convince any of you that Antifa is a real thing, because if you have not come to that conclusion by now, you are never going to come to that conclusion because you don't want to see it. And you're going to go and you're going to say it's a bunch of right-wing conservative influencers who are here spinning a tale. I was one of you. I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show what they're doing. And when I saw, after all those years, that the media wouldn't be honest about what was happening, that Democratic politicians wouldn't be honest about what was happening.
Joining me now is comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein. Alex, Antifa are about to belatedly face the consequences of their lawlessness and violence. And what Brandy said there, she was addressing the media, because so many in the media continue to pretend that this group doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I mean, Rita, it's very easy to expose this group. And I just want to first start off by saying congratulations to all those independent journalists. I got to go up there, Andy Ngo, especially a friend of mine, Savannah Hernandez. A lot of my friends are up there, too many to name, but I was just so excited that Trump gave them the platform because, what's happening with Antifa is a real thing. And I'm not calling the Democratic Socialists of America Antifa, but there's so many offshoots of these left-wing, Marxist, communist groups that don't even need a name. And people can very easily figure out how these, weird small groups are funded. And that doesn't mean when you go to a protest that every protester is paid. But when you see these protests, the people that organize them are literally paid. These are organized groups. So this isn't an accident. Antifa is not a fake thing. It's a real thing. And it is a threat to, everyday Americans. So I'm really excited that they got to go to the White House. So this is actually this is a very big deal, Rita, and especially for me, because I know a lot of those people that got to go there today.
And I'm so glad to see quite a few of them, I know them as well, who finally got a platform to speak to the media, speak to the president, because they were victimised. They were not only victims of violence at the hands of Antifa, they were then defamed by the media and cast as far right or agitators. They were literally being victim blamed. It was just so appalling. And Andy Ngo was a victim of that as well. Now, Alex, relations were decidedly less friendly in the Oval Office earlier in the week. Watch this clash between President Trump and a reporter.
Mr. President, when are you going to get details?
We're going to be going into New York, too.
Mr. President,
and we're going to be going in quiet. You're really obnoxious.
I'm not obnoxious, but I'm trying to ask you, what about your plans for
really
Memphis?
Obnoxious.
I'm not obnoxious, but I am asking, what are your plans for Memphis? Many people want
I'm
to
not going to talk to you until I call on you.
What are your plans for Memphis?
Who else? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to...
Oh, yes, she was obnoxious, all right. But Alex, tell me about the Trump administration's efforts to crack down on crime in big cities. This is contentious. Do you think it's going to work?
Rita, honestly, if you really want to know my opinion, and obviously I do have a lot of conservative, leaning opinions, but when I see the National Guard being sent to places like D.C. and Chicago, it makes me worried. And yes, I do think it's a necessary evil to have them there, but let's be real, martial law under Trump might be okay. But when it comes to future presidents and, future cabinet members making decisions, I don't know if I will be able to trust them putting the military in the streets. So right now, it seems like a Band-Aid for a very serious wound, and I hope it's a temporary fix. But I just hope that, future administrations will not decide to use the same tactic, because nobody wants the military on our streets. We need more police, Rita. We don't need the military. But in all honesty, it is that dangerous in Chicago and Portland and DC. So they've kind of left us no choice. But it's just, that's not the America I grew up in, having military on the streets.
Well, it's so difficult, Alex. It's so difficult, Alex, to get police officers in some of these big cities. They're Democrat-run. They've got very permissive attitudes towards crime. There's some big anti-police sentiment amongst the leadership in some of these cities. So to encourage people to risk their life and join the police force, it's a difficult task. Yeah, it's no easy answers here. Now, I know you and Charlie Kirk were very close, and you're determined to continue his good work, though you have your own style, it must be said. Let's have a look.
No, who hurt me?
What did
all
they
my
do?
Life.
What did they do? Did they bully you?
Yeah, dumb piece of
I'm sorry.
Go back to middle school where you belong.
I'm sorry that you're bullied like that. It's not fair. It was not nice of those kids to bully you. But you're a very powerful young man. I think you could use all that power. You can harness it for good. I don't know. What are you passionate?
Why don't you do something other than this bullshit on my campus?
No, this is what I do. I spread awareness. I speak to young men like you that are highly effective.
Trying to radicalize angry people.
I know. I'd like to radicalize you on my side to support Donald Trump.
I'd like to kick you in the balls. Would it make me feel better? Yeah.
To assault another man, to kick a man in the genitalia. First you asked to see my penis. Now you want to touch my penis with your foot?
Real hard.
Alex, some of these people can't be helped.
No, that guy was absolutely insane. We've been trying to get in contact with him, but let's be real, Rita. I cannot hold a candle to Charlie, and I can only do basically kind of a dollar store version of Charlie. But what was so great is that Charlie let me represent Turning Point and do that because he wanted to spread awareness, that he knew that if I imitated him, it would get more students at my events, thus helping Turning Point USA. So he was so selfless, and I cannot do 1/1,000,000th of what Charlie did. But I am going to try to go on campuses and continue to keep his legacy alive. Obviously, his legacy will never die, but I just want to do my small part. And it's an honor to be a part of Turning Point USA. And, sadly, the world is not going to be a better place without Charlie. But Turning Point is, it's growing so massively right now. Charlie would be very, very ecstatic to see the growth of Turning Point in just the last month since his terrible assassination.
Yes, his legacy, I think, is just going to grow bigger and bigger. Now, before you go, there have been media reports that Bill Belichick's days in Chapel Hill may be numbered. What's going on there, Alex? How much of this is due to the 73-year-old's relationship with 24-year-old girlfriend Jordan Hudson? Of course, he is a football coaching legend, but he comes with a lot of controversy these days.
Rita, I love when you give me a sports question. Me, as a diehard NFL fan, listen, Coach Belichick was the greatest NFL coach of all time. His dynasty with Tom Brady will never be, there will be no other team that will be able to replicate that success. But, he's getting paid a lot of money in UNC. He has a 24-year-old girlfriend that, is attractive, but she seems like she's absolutely crazy. She's on the sidelines more than the damn coordinator. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's a bad, toxic environment. And I do think that it would actually save face for UNC and Coach Belichick to at least finish the year. So I'd hate to see the midseason fire. But you know what's really frustrating, and not a lot of people have been sharing this? Drake May, who was a former UNC Tar Heel legend who had a great game in the NFL, he told the Tar Heels not to share any of the highlights because Drake May currently plays for the Patriots. So I don't like that cattiness. An old player at UNC, you should still be gassing him up just because he's on the Patriots now. So I don't like that pettiness, and I think that is kind of infecting his whole entire locker room.
Alex Stein, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.